Alright, I'll call you back. I will, I promise. Alright. Bye-bye. I love you too. Click. And I cut the line. I told her I love her every time, but is this a love that's real? Or a love based solely on how I feel? A love that's fueled by a lustful passion, a love that changes according to her fashion. A love that's inversely proportional to the length of her skirt. A love that never misses an opportunity to cheat or flirt. I remember when the word love first started to perplex me. It was a word I would see every time she would text me. I love you, Selasi. So, I read enough times to start thinking I loved her back. Until I found out about him. I was 14 and my first girlfriend was cheating on me with someone else. But we loved each other, right? And this is where my confusion began, I think. You see, I still didn't know love's part of speech, but the word love had already become a part of my speech and I was saying it to any girl I liked. I started treating love like it was a noun and a common one at that, like an item or commodity that I could give or take from any girl I wanted. I gave out shares in my heart like a stockbroker, but as I continued to lose stock, I got broker. Till eventually I was broken, and all I was left with were pieces. So I started to call all the girls I gave my love to. I said, I'm sorry, no wait, those were just pieces. I need some back. But you see, word had gotten around that the love I was giving out was counterfeit. So all I got back was your hate. So here I was, a few years later, in the same position as before, with still no idea what love really meant. Wait, love isn't a noun. Love is something you do. It's an action. It's got to be a verb, right? And besides, everybody was doing it. So I started to make love. And I have to admit, I'm not proud of a lot of the things that I did. I didn't start big though. I started small. From visual contact alone and the lust of the eyes, desire would arise. We started to speak and our desires would show. We touched and made our desires grow, and then we kissed and made our desires overflow until eventually we did the unthinkable. Well, I shouldn't call it unthinkable because I had spent years imagining, dreaming, and thinking about that moment, but in the end, it wasn't what I expected. I would wait till it was late so I could steal the car off at the gates to go meet up on a date, and in the end we'll copulate. Only for her to call me up after and say, baby, I'm late. And I thought to myself, oh my God, my father is going to kill me, I'm going to be the late. So I fell to my knees and said, God, please, save me, and I'll never do it again, I promise. But even though I dodged becoming a father and I didn't get an STD, I was still trapped by desire. So I fell into it again, and again, and again. My love life was loveless, full of fear and worry, and I knew that this couldn't be it. But then one day, I listened to a sermon with a simple message: God is love. I had been Christian all my life, but now I was confronted with something that completely confused me. Not love as a noun or a verb, but love as an adjective, as a part and parcel of God, as a very fiber sewn into his being, because God is love. I don't know why, but for some reason, I always seem to end up in long-distance relationships. when in fact I was supposed to walk in it. And as I started to learn to walk in His love, He showed me even deeper realms of His love. Not just love as an adjective, He showed me His love as an interjection, because it comes in when you least expect it. He showed me His love as a conjunction, because it brings His people together. He showed me His love as a preposition, because it always comes first. I'm talking about His furious love, and I still haven't begun to understand it. It's not the kind of love you see on campus that's all sex and no emotion, or the self-love some people give themselves emotion. It's not the kind of love you see in Ghanaian movies that requires emotion. No, I'm talking about the love of God that's brighter than the sun, higher than the mountains, and deeper than the ocean. This is the love of the one who made you, the only one who will catch a grenade for you. And in fact, He's done better. Because of His love, He came down to earth maternally and died on the cross in place of you and me, so that one day we might live with Him eternally. You see, I don't think you grasp the gravity of just what He did. He, the King of heaven, subjected Himself to gravity, left behind all of His majesty, and came down to earth. He killed on a tree with about 9-inch nails. And even though we keep being 2x4 Christians, and 2x4 is 8, which is one less than a 9, He took through His palms and His feet. Still, His love never fails. It never fails. It always hopes, always trusts, and always perseveres. It's more than enough to wipe away those tears. Now I know a lot of you don't enjoy being preached to. So before I end, if there's only one thing that this poem can teach you, let it be that you and me need to start to see His love as an adjective. Because when we do, we will truly live.